So here's the set, the celebration set that I want to introduce to you tonight. It's Driving By, and it has all these antique cars and minibuses. And you know, you probably saw them in the mini catalog or the celebration catalog and thought, yeah, okay. Well, I have a few things to show you tonight that I think you might just maybe think a little differently than you did at first glance. And I'm going to start out with a really simple card. And, you know, I struggle with simple, but I wanted, after I did all the other ones, I was like, you know, I probably should do something that maybe is just a little easier in case you don't want to go as crazy as I did. So I'm going to stamp the card there with the balloons. I'm going to make it into a birthday card. And let's see where that's going to fit. Just going to stamp everything in black. I'm going to turn this into a guy's card, so it's going to be red and black. Don't like how that turned out. But it's the only piece of paper I have in here, so we'll go with it. I don't think it's absolutely terrible, but all right. I'm going to go ahead and color the car in real red because I've got my real red base underneath. I'm going to leave that there so that I don't get it through to anything. So I'm just going to go ahead with the lightest color and color most of the body. Trying to stay in the lines as good as I can. Alright, so I got all that done. Now I'm going to come in with the darker shade, and I'm going to just add some here at the bases just to give it a little bit of shadowing. Maybe right above here. And it actually is blending itself fairly decently, so I don't know that I want to touch it too much. Maybe up here just a little bit. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks good. And I'm going to just do, let me grab, I have a Bermuda Bay here. Just going to do the balloons here. Do I want to do them in Bermuda Bay? You know what? I'm going to use gray. I have these for another project that I want to show you, so I don't want to add another shade. And I might want the lighter gray. Let me just go ahead and add some dark gray here. And this is an over-the-hill kind of birthday, right? Black, almost black balloons. And to leave a little bit of this open so that you can see that the balloon is a little shiny, right? All right, so that's almost it. I do want to add a piece of this ribbon. This is our new faux linen ribbon. And I'm just going to tuck a little piece around there. Oops, didn't grab my ribbon scissors. Now, I could have probably put this on a black card base, you know, a black piece instead of red. So that's another option. Let's just make sure this is still straight. I could go up just a little. Maybe I'll bring that down a little. All right, so I'm going to come back over this with a little bit of adhesive. I always go over the ribbon. After I glue it down, I go over it again so that it doesn't pull out. You definitely don't want that to pull out. It's much harder to get it to stick back in than to do it the first time right. Straighten this up a little bit. It's a little bit crooked. Okay, I'm going to turn it over and press it good, and then we'll get some more adhesive on here, and we will put this on the base. And I actually have it opening a little differently. So this base is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. And I decided that I wanted a different opening. So it's going to be a side opening. There you go. Quick and easy. Great guys card. Okay, so that's the simple design. Now I want to show you a couple of other designs. Let me just get rid of, oh, I did want to show you, I took the It's Your Day from the Happiest of Birthdays stamp set, which is really a fun stamp set. And let me scoot that aside. All right. All right, the next card that I want to show you is using a couple of different things. I'm using a balmy blue ink pad, and I've already taken a white piece of paper, and I took my sponge brush and just made this slightly blue. We're going to make a slimline card. So I wanted a bit of a sky. I also want to make some clouds for my sky, so I'm going to use our new cloud punch. It's always fun with the lighting on these things, right? I see I'm shimmering there on everything, so let me scoot that aside. Okay. Sorry. Make it difficult for you to watch, right? Okay, I'm going to punch out a couple of clouds. I'm not sure how many I want to use. I'm going to try punching 2 at a time. Usually out of our basic white, you can easily do that. Okay, so now we have a couple of clouds. We'll decide how many we want in our sky. Just going to sort of lay a couple here. And we can make these go either direction. All right, now we also are going to have a couple of cars. We're going to use all 3 of the cars in this set. And I have already stamped them. I've colored one of them in. I'm going to finish coloring. And I've also taken a piece of black, and I think it's 1 1/4 inches, about 1 1/4 inches. And I have already embossed Happy Birthday from the set from our annual catalog. And then these little guys I embossed in white. This is from our tree set in the annual catalog, the one with the punch. And it made a perfect little divided highway. So I was pretty excited about that. I think my slimline card is just a hair smaller just because I was lazy and I got a piece of paper that I had laying there. So it's not quite the size to fit in our slimline envelope. It's a little smaller, but it will still fit. So I may choose to scoot these guys around, or might choose just to put 2 of them on here, just because of space. So this one I want to color. I'm going to color this one Daffodil. So we're going to go fun colors. Let's scoot this over here just so I can... Our alcohol blend, so they're gonna, the color will blend in nicely. Okay, and I was gonna do Bermuda Bay on the van. Let's go ahead and do that, and we'll see if we can find a space to put him. Quite dark, so I'm not even sure I'm going to need the darker color. And you have to remember too that you can mix between the colors. Like if I wanted this to be lighter, I could have chosen a lighter color and then shaded with this one. I'm going to just do some touches here. I really feel like I like it as it is, but I'm going to just add a little bit of shading here. Come back and just blend this a little bit. One thing is you have to sort of give it a little time to actually blend. It will take a few seconds. I'm going to grab my color lifter. I got a little smudge right in here, so I just want to lift that color. Don't want it on my tire. And I should have some scrap paper under here, because I certainly don't want it on my table. And then I'm going to get a little bit off of this window here, where I was a little bit messy. I don't want to do too much, because I don't want it to take the color away inside of the lines. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to let that dry a little bit. Sometimes I will come back and touch it up again. But if I get it too wet, the color will keep bleeding away from the design. Okay, so let's, I'm going to go ahead and glue my pieces down here so that I can figure out exactly how much space I have. Not terrible. Okay. All right, now we're ready to put the cars on. We're going to pop them up with some dimensionals. Thanks for sticking with me. And I'm actually, I think I found that these little balloons will fit a mini dimensional perfectly. That way the balloons won't be dragging all over the place, right? Okay. I got to keep it on my card, so I'm going to cover the H just a tad. I think you can still see it okay. And let me get some edges here for this big. My son was, my youngest, Malachi, he always loved, I would say, the weirdest vehicles. He was 6'4" and loved the tiny smart cars. In fact, his first car, I can't remember what it was called, but we found a used car and he was just enthralled with it. It was a tiny thing, but he loved these old van wagons, anything that was old and just what people would think was sort of funky looking. He was in love with them. So this will be a perfect card for him. He never, my other boys were into muscle cars and, you know, old Chevelles, old Novas, but not Malachi. He was into just the old cars, Corvairs. I'm sorry, the ugliest car that they ever made, I think. Maybe a Pacer. Maybe a Pacer. Sorry if you have these and if you love these. They're just not my style. Okay. I also took the saying, driving by to say hi, and embossed that on black. And I'm just going to give it some snips here. I just want it in pieces so that I can hang it in the clouds. And we'll just give this a little snip, a snip, snip. So driving by just to say hi on your birthday. Ta-da! All done. Lots of room to write inside. And this will fit in our new Slimline envelopes. And fortunately, I've added some color here that should coordinate. They're a light green color, and there's some white as well. But I wanted to bring those in to show you. Let me grab those real quick. Okay, here we go. So they're called Slimline Envelopes, or envelopes, however you like to say them. We have the green, which is our in color. This is Smoky Slate, and then we have the white. Why can't I can't think of the in color, but you know what I mean. The really cool thing is inside of each of these, there is a printed design. So they're very fancy, really cool. And I think I could use either the white or the gray with this one, but I just want to show you how nicely this fits in here. Like I said, this card is just than your typical Slimline, but it will mail nicely in these. And they're a little smaller. They're, I think, like a number 8 size envelope. So they'll fit into a number 10, which is a business envelope. But yeah, so fun, and I'm so thankful that we have envelopes now, so that I can make a fun Slimline card, and I don't have to worry about making an envelope for that. All right, give me a sec to clean up. Okay, I wanted to get that cleaned away so that I could show you the other cards. So let's bring back, we have our simple card, It's Your Day, stamps, ink, and paper, some markers, and a little bit of ribbon. And then we have, let's see, we have this one. I brought in, I used the rainbow set with it, and a little bit of our vellum printed paper. It has some maps on it because we're going to be traveling. And then we've got our old vehicles here, just basically stamped in black. I added a little bit of color there to match, but some real retro colors. And then I did this one. I did this white here similarly, where I sponge brushed it to get a little bit of blue so that it had some cloud look to it. I inked just the balloons with a black pen and stamped it on my paper, and then the cars are actually cut out. Now you could change that up if you wanted to simplify it, and I could have stamped these right on the white piece, and I wouldn't have to cut them completely out if you want to save a little time. But I thought the colors in that were fun. And I pulled in some leftover pieces from a paper pumpkin. There were some hearts and some little gems that I used on that from a paper pumpkin kit. I don't even know which one. I just had them laying here because they were so cool. And then this is probably my very favorite. I just did this one tonight. I cased it from a gal, I think in Germany. And again, we've got the rainbow theme going on. I love how there's a little pattern in the rainbow set where you can actually change. It's not just a solid shape. You can actually put some designs on the rainbow layers, I guess you would call it. And check this out. So I stamped the van on one of the pieces of designer paper. These papers are all from the Celebration set rainbows, except for this black piece that came from the Hostess set from the regular catalog. But the rest of the pieces are all from that. Also, I want to point this out. I wanted a taller piece. So here's the car, and it just has this little stash right here. So I did 2 of those. You can see this one and then this one. I tucked it up underneath. And then this one I drew by hand with our black pen, and then I colored these all in just with regular markers because I wanted it to be taller. I wanted my bow to come up here to where my bow is tied, and so I actually cut the bow off the top of that. So anyways, you would never know that this wasn't part of the stamp because these are all hand-drawn looking. So it was easy for me just to hand draw another piece and make it look like that. And then again, these were just stamped on this paper and cut out. And then these dies, of course, come from the rainbow set as well as the little rain clouds. And the thank you is from the rainbow set. I hadn't used that little tiny thank you yet, but I thought it fit perfect right there. So anyways, so I hope that you enjoy that. I hope this set got a little bit of life tonight, that you got to see it from a different, maybe just a little different perspective, and all the fun that you could have with it. So everything for the project will be listed in my link below, so you'll be able to click through to my store where there will be a tutorial on this card and this card, and the link will be there for all the products that I use, so that if you need to purchase any of those, you can. So again, make sure that you have subscribed to my channel so that you don't miss future videos. And also on the links, you'll see that there's a link to subscribe to my email newsletter so that you don't miss out on my weekly tutorials.